Hamjambo wananchi watukufu, mhali gani? I hope you're doing all well. This broadcast today is, have you ever been arrested? Or do you know anybody who is in detention? There is a news there in the Kenyan embassy that I want us to go through it so that we can understand if you're arrested here in the US, what do you need to do? What do you need to understand in terms of what the embassy can do to you? You know, we always hear of the embassy, but sometimes we don't understand like what exactly they do. So this is one of the reasons why the embassy, Kenyan embassy here in the US is very important. When you're arrested or detained, very important to know. So for these and many stories, before we even continue, please make sure you subscribe. Yeah, subscribe and click the bell, okay? And also it will be very important because I don't want to be known as Gary or my links, okay? So please make sure you subscribe and click that bell before we even continue. And for those who are new, please consider doing so as well. So welcome so much. Yeah, as I've just stated ahead of time, is that we'll be talking about when somebody is arrested or detained. So let's head direct to the story of today and let's see what's popping. Okay, so this, I'm retrieving this from the embassy of Kenya in the US. Okay, so you know we are used to just the embassy of America. So we are talking about the embassy of Kenya here in the US. So in case somebody is arrested, this is what we are talking about. In case somebody, in case of arrest, what happens? What do you do? What do you do? What do you need to understand? What are some of the services the embassy can offer? So consular function is in cases of arrest and detention of Kenyan nationals in the United States. So that's our topic today. And as you all know, that apart from the diplomatic functions, the embassy stroke the consulate provide consular services to visiting or resident Kenyan nationals and individuals wishing to travel to Kenya. Okay, so that's a function that you need to understand as we continue with this. Let me just set this up first of all in a little bit. Oh yeah, I think you're able to see that. Okay, so we are going together. So so you have to understand the functions of the embassy, and especially when it comes to arrest. So the consular officials are entitled to access nationals in detention. Okay, so this basically means that sometimes some even of a family member will never access you while you're on detention, but the embassy and the officials in the embassy can be able to access you well when you're arrested or detained. Okay, and are entitled to provide appropriate consular assistance. So there is a number of assistance that they can provide, but until you know, you will never know. Okay, that's why I brought this broadcast so that I can highlight what most people maybe have not read, just for you to understand. And in cases involving foreign nationals of countries that are not in the US mandatory notification list, where Kenyan nationals are arrested or detained, they will be advised of the right to have their consular official notified. Okay, so subject to the express consent of the arrested or detained individuals, the US law enforcement agency will notify the consular officer at the embassy or the consulate without a delay. Okay, but you have to realize that for this to happen, you have to give the consent for the consular to be informed. Otherwise, if not so, you know, here in the US, when it comes to privacy, HIPAA, it's very big, it's very huge. They cannot tell anything that you've not signed. Okay, so that's something you have to sign. So what are some of the things that you need to understand when it comes to the consular and the embassy, what they can do? So what happens is the embassy has a range of consular services, including the following. Okay, so attempt to ensure that they receive a fair and speedy trial, because some of these trials can go for months and months and months. But when the embassy comes through, the process can be speedy. Okay, so and then number 2 is that you have to note, visit them in prison to ensure that they are receiving humane treatment. Yeah, when you when you are arrested, or you cannot, not anybody can access you. Yeah, not sometimes even your family members, but the officials of the consular can be able to access you and make sure you are treated right, you are treated with no less value, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, and then also number 3 is converse and respond with them and assist in arranging for legal representation. One of the things that you have to realize is that legal representation can be very costly. And as Kenyans, I'm based here in Seattle, Washington. We've always sometimes got news that we have to raise some funds to get somebody out, maybe because of 1, 2, 3. So, but with the consular, there's this service that can arrange for you for a legal representation, and that can be maybe cheap, or depending with your case, you can get a pro bono representation. Okay, and then facilitate communication with family, both within the US and in Kenya. Yeah, because most of us, some people, or if not all of us, most of the people have their family back home. So it can be an issue if you're arrested and there's nobody who can communicate to your family. But when the embassy is aware, it becomes totally their mandate. Okay, so those are the 4 of the consular services that they can provide. Okay, so it's important to just note that the consular officers are required to refrain from acting on behalf of the foreign national. Okay, so even though our embassy can come through, or the consular can come through, it cannot act on behalf of the like the US now, for example. Okay, so if national opposes their involvement, in addition, consular officers are precluded from acting as attorney for their nationals. Okay, so that's something also we have to note. Okay, and then as such, the embassy or the consulate, consular officers do not provide legal representation. We will offer basic legal advice and, if necessary, assist in identifying a suitable attorney. Yeah. It is to be noted, however, that the embassy or the consulate does not provide any financial assistance or provide bound facility for detained Kenyans. Okay, so that's something that you really have to note, that the fact that the embassy will come through for you does not say that they will pay for any financial support in case you need an attorney. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay, we strongly advise Kenyans in the United States to ensure that they observe the law and regulation of this country in order to avoid getting into costly legal processes. We particularly urge all Kenyans to keep their immigration status valid at all times and avoid being at the risk of facing deportation proceedings. Okay, yeah, that's very key. That's very key. In America, you really have to obey the law. As much as we're saying the embassy has some services that they can offer, you really have to toe the line. Be always on the right of the law, the rule of the law. Okay, otherwise you'll find yourself in some great problems. Okay, so and then it is also important to register with the embassy or consulate in case of any eventuality. If for any reason you are arrested or detained, do not resist the arrest. Do not resist the arrest. Okay, don't say that the embassy of Kenya will and then you will be shot, my friend. Okay, so don't resist. Okay, it will only serve to aggravate your legal problems. Okay, don't resist arrest. Okay, give consent to the law enforcement agency to notify the embassy, consulate, consular section of your arrest, detention. This could be the only way for the embassy or consulate, and perhaps your next of kin will learn about your predicament order to find possible ways of assistance. So make sure you notify the embassy, or also just have in some way how the embassy or the consulate can know, so that they can alert if you have a next of kin or your family back home, they can do so for you. Okay, if possible, ask for communication facility to talk with the consular officer at the embassy. Consulate will collect calls from detention centers. Okay, so some of the times we find ourselves into big problems, because American English it's very different. So yeah, if communication is a problem for you, yeah, that's a way you can be able to, the embassy can always come through for you. And also they will accept to collect calls from detention center. If you're maybe detained, they will be able to even get your calls from where you're detained. Okay, in talking with the embassy consulate, state your case honestly and provide names and contacts of individuals both in the US and in Kenya you wish to inform about your situation. So anytime you report your case to the embassy, you really have to be truthful. Otherwise, they are trying to help you and to be on your side. So if you bring a lot of lies and discrepancy, so there's no way they will be able to help you. So the embassy or consulate will communicate your message to them as soon as possible. Okay. If you can afford an attorney, decline to answer questions related to your case except in the presence of and with the advice of your attorney. Okay. So attorney is a big one of the big things here. Here it's good to have an attorney. Otherwise, it's representing yourself. You really have to understand the terminologies, the way forward. You know, you just can't decide to represent yourself, especially here in the US. Yeah, there is a lot of things that you need to know beforehand. Okay, so I believe that's the end of our topic today. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can consult the website. I was just there on the Nairobi embassy, so you can go there. And thank you so much for always supporting Kenya Marekani. Please make sure you subscribe and click the bell so that anytime we bring any new content, you'll be the first one to watch. Okay, for now, ciao. Click the bell, subscribe.